You have within you a great power. You have the power to heal yourself and everyone else around you. And you have the power to destroy yourself and everyone else around you at the same time. In spiritual texts, it says, "He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed, and pleasant words bring healing to the bones." There was a great journalist who wrote, "A really great person is a person that makes everyone feel great." There was a great artist, Dante Gabriel Rossetti. And he had an old man come to him, and he had two sets of paintings. And Rossetti took a look at the first set of paintings, and he was not very impressed. And he told the old man, "These are worthless. I have to be truthful." And the old man was disheartened, just hung his head and looked down and felt sad. It was hard for Rossetti to be able to have to say that to him, but he had to be truthful at the same time. Then he took a look at the other set of paintings, and I think he was amazed. Wow, these are great. These are amazing paintings. This man has great talent, or this person has great talent. Who did these paintings? I mean, they're going to go on to be famous, and I want to be able to help them. And the old man just hung his head and started to cry. He said, what's the matter? What's wrong?" He said, "You see, those are my paintings 40 years ago. If only I had your encouragement then. For you see, I got discouraged and gave up painting altogether." So you see, our encouragement to others brings about a change in people's lives. We have the power to change lives just by the way we connect with people and make things happen. If you just tell somebody they have great looking hair, or that's a pretty blouse, or hey, you look very nice and skinny these days, wow, that makes a huge change in somebody's way of looking at life. And if you just allow yourself to speak what you'd like to hear, you can change lives altogether. There's a story about a whole bunch of frogs. And all these frogs are hopping through the forest. And they're hopping around, and they're all moving in one direction. And all of a sudden, bloop, two of the frogs disappear into a deep hole. And the other frogs are looking down, they're going, "Hey, what are you doing down here? Get out, get out." And the frogs in the hole start jumping and trying to get out. And two of the frogs, they go, "We're going to save our friends." And they jump in, and they didn't listen. And the other frogs up on top are going, "You can never get out of there. There's no way you can make it. You're going to die in there." And one of the frogs in the hole starts jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping, and he finally figures maybe they're right, and he lays down and dies. And then the other frogs start jumping and jumping and jumping, and then one of them says, "I'm getting out of here," and he jumps way up to the top and he makes his way out. And the frogs on the top, one of them looks at him and he goes, "Why'd you do that for? I told you it was impossible." But sometimes we don't listen to discouragement. But sometimes, as with the one frog, people do listen, and it changes their life in terrible ways. We have that power of being able to encourage somebody and making them bloom and blossom and grow, or we can discourage them and change their life in amazing negative ways. At the same time, when we do that, we're raising our vibration or we're lowering our vibration. And we're doing the same for the other person. There's a great story of a man in a hospital. And he's in a room that has two beds. And there's another man over by the window. And that man has the only window in that room. And this other man that's farther away from the window, he can't see out the window. So every day he's asking the man by the window, "What do you see out there? I can't see through the window. I can't get up to go look. I'm really kind of feeling bad. Can you tell me what's going on outside? Because if I could know what's going on in the world, maybe I'll feel better." So the man over by the window starts to describe what's going on outside. Oh, there's a park outside, and there's kids playing, and they're playing on the swing, and there's a water fountain going, and there's people walking back and forth, and they're shopping, and everybody's having a great time. And there's little white billowy clouds and blue sky, and there's dogs playing in the park. People are throwing a ball, and the dogs are chasing the ball. They're having a great time. And that would lift the spirits of this man, and he ended up being in that hospital for a long, long time. But after a while, the man that was by the window, he was terminally ill, and he ended up dying. And the man was left alone in that room for a while. So he asked that he be moved over by the window. So they took the man and he moved him by the window. When he got into that bed, he noticed that when he looked out the window, there was nothing but a blank wall of another wall of the hospital. And he could not see anything. And he goes, "Well, what's going on?" This man was describing, the park and everything. Why is there just a blank wall here? And the nurse came and said, that man was blind. He couldn't see a thing. So you see, my friends, even with our last breath, we can make a difference in someone else's life if we only believe we can. And it takes our focus off of ourselves and allow ourselves to help somebody in a great way. And also that man who was blind was being picked up by the fact that the other man was feeling good, and his vibration was being pulled up to a higher level. You have the power to change lives. You have the power to create new horizons for people and for yourself. You have that divinity that lives within you. And you can use that power in any way that you decide. That's your power of choice.